Welcome to the Trusty Hire podcast, where we talk all about how to hire the most qualified overseas virtual assistants for your business without sacrificing on a lot of hiring costs. So in today's video, we're talking all about a very important question that I know a lot of business owners that are considering hiring overseas may have, which is, do I pay my VA hourly or salaried? This decision really impacts your business. So I'm going to go over a few key points, pros and cons on which one you should choose. So let's get into it. So let's first discuss the pros and cons between salaried and hourly. So for an hourly paid employee, it offers a ton of flexibility. So let's say your workload fluctuates, you can easily kind of adjust how much hours you're assigning to your VA. This comes in super handy when you're just doing project-based work or if you have busy seasons. So this also helps with budgeting because with hourly payments, you only pay for the number of hours that your VA has worked. So you can easily manage the budget and track how many hours are working. This can be good for if you're a really small startup or you're really tight on your finances. One downside to paying hourly is your expenses can vary month by month, so it's not something that you can't forecast. So if a project takes more time than you expected it to take, then you would have to pay more for that project. Versus if you were paid salary, it would be the same thing throughout. Also, when it comes to hourly payments, you do need some sort of time tracking software, which sometimes does cost some money and also requires some extra oversight because you need to make sure that your VA is tracking and logging their hours and you are paying your VA according to how many hours that they logged in. Versus if you're paying salaried, you just pay the same salary every single week or bi-weekly. Also, if you're paying hourly, it may reduce the productivity of your employee. So let's say their hours change week to week. They may feel less empowered or motivated to work at your company, or may also just be constantly finding full-time work elsewhere, which may lead them to feel less dedicated to your company. Now let's talk a little bit more about salary pay and the pros and cons of that. So for salaried, as I mentioned before, there's more predictability when it comes to budgeting. So every single week or bi-weekly, you're paying the same amount no matter how many hours they work. Of course, for a full-time employee, you want to kind of cap it at 40 hours. You don't want to overwork them. Also, a salaried employee makes the employee feel more motivated and incentivized to work more efficiently. So paying a VA salary can often help with productivity because if they have, let's say, an 8-hour day, they are incentivized to finish their work as efficiently as possible. Without dragging on their work to fill an 8-hour day. Also, a salaried employee usually means that they are more loyal and more dedicated to just your company because they're just working for your company and just ultimately benefits your business. So for a salaried employee, the cons, the biggest one I can think of is if you don't have as much work for them, you would still have to pay for the hours that they are assigned to your business. So let's say you have a slower month, you would still have to pay them the same amount as the busy month. So sometimes those months they may be underutilized and you can't do much about it. Also, if you want someone part-time, bringing on someone salaried may not be the best fit. Part-time would probably be better for an hourly position. So now that we have talked about the pros and cons of both, now which one should you choose? So you can consider the nature of your work. So think about the tasks that you need help with. So if your workload is ongoing and consistent and doesn't have like very high seasons and low seasons, salaried work is definitely your best choice. If your task and your workload is kind of jumpy and has high seasons, low seasons, hourly is definitely the better choice for you. Also to consider your budget constraints. If you're ready to commit to a full-time person and pay them a full-time salary because you know you have constant work coming in, salary is definitely the way to go. But if you're kind of in a growth phase and you're kind of uncertain about the workload, I would say just go for hourly. Also consider long-term relationships with your VAs. If you want to build a long-term relationship and you want to grow with the VA and you want the VA to grow with you, you definitely want to bring on someone salaried, not hourly. It can definitely create a stronger bond and have more loyalty to your company. So that's it for today's video about how to decide whether to pay hourly or salary for your VA. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this video, and I will see you in the next one.